The collapse of Russia's western corridor didn't begin with gunfire. It began with silence. Freight trains that once connected Moscow to Kaliningrad now stand motionless across the landscape, their engines off, their cargo useless. The land bridge that kept Russia's Baltic fortress alive has been erased by a series of moves so quiet, so calculated, that the Kremlin didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. For years, Kaliningrad was a symbol of Russian strength, a military outpost surrounded by NATO countries, home to the Baltic fleet and nuclear-capable missiles. Moscow called it its unsinkable aircraft carrier, proof that Russia still had a powerful foothold inside Europe. But strength built on dependency is not strength at all. Kaliningrad's survival always depended on others. Every drop of fuel, every crate of food, every spare part had to travel through Lithuania or Belarus to get there. That weakness, long ignored, has now become fatal. It all started on October 31st, when Lithuania's state railway company made a short, technical-sounding announcement. Starting November 21st, it would halt all transit of petroleum products owned by Lukoil and Rosneft, Russia's two largest oil producers. At first, Russian media dismissed it as a temporary bureaucratic issue. But within hours, the truth became clear. This wasn't a delay, it was a shutdown. Lithuania was enforcing US and UK secondary sanctions, which punish any country or company that helps Russian state-linked firms move oil. If Lithuania ignored those sanctions, its banks and businesses would be locked out of the global dollar system. There was no choice. With one decision, the main artery to Kaliningrad stopped pumping. The numbers are staggering: more than 370,000 tons of fuel shipped in 2024, nearly all of it from Lukoil, gone overnight. Moscow's first reaction was denial. Officials promised that supply would continue through Belarusian roads, but that illusion collapsed almost immediately. In late October, Lithuania and Poland accused Belarus of launching a hybrid operation using smuggling balloons, small contraptions carrying cigarettes and propaganda material across their borders. It sounded absurd, but the political timing was perfect. Under the guise of defending border security, both countries closed their crossings with Belarus. Medininkai, Shalchininkai, Kunikta, Bobrovniki, all sealed. The effect was devastating. Trucks stopped, trains rerouted, shipments cancelled. Belarus was locked in, and with it, Russia's backup route to Kaliningrad died. Satellite images show hundreds of freight cars trapped near the borders, rusting in place. Truck drivers report waiting days without progress. Kaliningrad, once connected by rail, road, and sea, is now cut off on every front. Even the sea routes are fragile. Any Russian tanker sailing from St. Petersburg to Kaliningrad must cross waters controlled by NATO members. Every movement is tracked. Every delay adds cost and risk. Inside Kaliningrad, the crisis grows by the day. Fuel prices surge. Ports operate at half capacity. Civilian flights are cancelled. The governor's office quietly urges people to conserve resources. Local sources say military units have reduced training to save diesel and aviation fuel. The so-called fortress is now dependent on rationing to survive. Meanwhile, Belarus's leader Alexander Lukashenko finds himself trapped by his own game. For months he hinted at betraying Putin, hoping for sanctions relief from the West. But after his hybrid balloon stunts, the doors to Europe slammed shut. Factories in Grodno and Brest are running out of materials. Exports to Poland are gone. Lukashenko tried to negotiate, offering to release a Polish prisoner in exchange for reopening one border post, but Warsaw refused. His desperate bargaining failed. The man who dreamed of escaping Putin's shadow now finds himself isolated alongside him. This double collapse of Kaliningrad and Belarus is not a coincidence. It's part of a broader strategic shift known as NATO's Phase Zero. Instead of waiting for conflict, this doctrine neutralizes threats before war begins by cutting supply lines, isolating allies, and crippling logistics. Lithuania's oil embargo, Belarus's border closures, and the isolation of Kaliningrad all fit the same pattern. It's 21st century warfare waged through finance and law, not missiles and tanks. The results are undeniable. Kaliningrad, once a symbol of Russian reach, has become a stranded liability. Belarus, once a loyal shield, is now a dead weight dragging Moscow down. Putin can shout about sovereignty all he wants. But sovereignty means nothing when your trains can't move and your borders don't open. The empire built on pipelines and railways is learning that infrastructure can be turned into a weapon. In the Baltic region, NATO now holds total logistical control. The Suwałki Gap, once feared as Russia's potential invasion corridor, has become NATO's barrier. Kaliningrad's isolation proves that the West can contain Russia without firing a shot. It's the quiet suffocation of an empire that once prided itself on endurance. What's left for Putin? A fortress that cannot be supplied, an ally that cannot be trusted, a Western strategy that no longer exists. The land bridge to Kaliningrad is gone, and with it, the illusion of Russian dominance in Europe. The silence echoing from those stranded trains says it all. Russia's reach has met its limit. Please like and subscribe to support our channel.